I apologize. I was up late. I sound a little bit like B. Arthur today, so I apologize.
Sexy. Tell the people why you were up late last night, because for me, I was just up late having insomnia, but you were up late.
Oh, well, I had that too after, but I was at the GLAAD Awards. We did some red carpet interviews, live streamed that. Then I was at the event, and then there was like a little after thing. And, I actually got home by 1. Everyone tried to pull me into I avoided the Abbey. I actually met somebody who was flirting with me that I was like, no, I got to be on a podcast in the morning.
Ooh, wow. That is so demure. So it's so hard to get. Oh my goodness.
I know. I played hard to get for you, Rebecca.
I am honored, because Lord knows if anybody had been flirting with me last night, I would have texted you and been like, sorry, Tracy, can't make it tomorrow. Bye.
Can you do it?
You do it. Enjoy the show. The moment belongs to you now. I'm getting action.
Yeah, exactly.
Speaking of getting action, we're gonna talk about Kristi Noem, who's been questioned about her action. Kristi Noem, the bird-legged hoe, is out at DHS. Mullin is in. We're going to talk a little bit about how that went down. We're going to talk a little bit more about the Epstein files. Testimony of Bill Clinton came out this week, and now Pam Bondi is going to have to testify. And so I'm curious, now that Kristi Noem got fired, how that's going to play out. We're going to briefly talk about a Supreme Court ruling that's going to affect trans and non-binary kids. And then I want to get a little tea about the GLAAD Awards. And then we're going to have a conversation with Zoya Biglari, who is a Persian American voice. She does cooking and talks about queer identity. And she is going to tell us a little bit about what it's like to be in the Iranian diaspora as we go to another war in the Middle East. So here we are.
Yeah.
It never ends. It's Friday.
I know. I mean, and it's still only March. We've got a lot of months to go in this year.
It's only March and it's only 2026. You know what I mean? I was out with some friends last night and somebody said, basically, do you think we're going to get out of this thing? And I said, yes, I do, but not before there's a death rattle. I think right. They're going to cling to this to the absolute end. But let's talk about what happened yesterday, because this was actually kind of a little bit of a win, so to speak. So Kristi Noem, who was the head of the Department of Homeland Security, you saw her ice Barbie. She was out there with the vests and the guns and hi Meredith, we miss you too.
Hi Meredith.
Truth Social post, my favorite. Donald Trump essentially fired her and brought in Oklahoma Senator Mark Wayne Mullin, which is the ultimate Southern name I've ever heard.
Yeah.
So this came after a very rocky congressional hearing this week where she was questioned about her overseeing of ICE, spending on jets, and her alleged relationship with a Trump advisor, Corey Lewandowski. She would have canceled on us to flirt with somebody.
Yeah, so, well, maybe she's better than I am in that regard.
I know, she can pull. By the way, Meredith is in an airport right now and tells us that she is still on TSA screens. So we'll see if Mark Wayne has a similar thing. I want to play a clip, though, of a California representative asking Kristi Noem about her relationship with Corey Lewandowski, because it blew my mind a little bit. Vienna, do we have that clip?
So, Secretary Noem, at any time during your tenure as Director of Department of Homeland Security, have you had sexual relations with Corey Lewandowski?
Mr. Chairman, I am shocked that we're going down and peddling tabloid garbage in this committee today.
Reclaiming
and
my
ma'am,
time.
one thing that I would tell you is that he is a special government employee who works for the White House. There are thousands of them in the federal government.
So reclaiming
and
my
is
time,
an advisor
Secretary, it is
and has
okay for
no,
you to be
no
offended
authority
by
to
the
be
question.
making any
It is
decisions.
okay for you to
has
be
no
offended
authority
by the
to
question.
Be making
But it is
decisions
also a
and putting
real
in
question.
position. So what I would say
And
to
you should be able to
is
answer
that
the
what we do
question
at the Department of Homeland
clearly.
Security every
All
single
right,
without
we
any
get it.
every
We get
single
it.
day
We
is to
can pull it
protect
down now. Okay. Did you notice that not once does she say, no, I am not having an affair with Trump advisor Corey Lewandowski?
Yes, exactly.
That's I was like, you You could
All she did
no,
was
like you could say no. I also thought it was very funny that she was like these tabloid stories, and I was like, you mean the Wall Street Journal? Like
right.
the Wall
It's
Street Journal reported this.
more fake news. And what's interesting to me too is it's not okay for them to talk about Kristi Noem, but the entire Republican Party was in on Kamala Harris's dating life.
That's so true.
In 2024. So, it's the entire, I always say this, the entire Republican Party's strategy is, I know you are, but what am I? Like it's a child's, it's like you're on the playground. Like, I know you are, but what am I?
Yeah. I also, her husband, by the way, was in that room. Kristi Noem is a married woman who seems to be having an affair. I was listening to actually somebody who won at the GLAAD Awards last night, the I've Had It podcast.
Jennifer Welch.
Jennifer Welch. And I was listening to her, and she was saying how evangelicals are so sort of primed to forgive these like bizarro indiscretions that you would think, like you would think adultery would be offensive to people who are like, and she's like, they just forgive it because their pastors do this, Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, and also, they just have a couple of things that they actually give a damn about. And I don't think adultery is one of them at the end of the day. They really only care about
controlling your body.
Pretend to care about bodily autonomy, because I'm sure if it happens to some of them, they're off to a secret. And then, of course, trans people. So, because those are the scapegoats, just to get the heat off of them.
Totally, yeah.
I don't think they actually care about anything.
Yeah, it's like a simple narrative. I have a question as like a pop culture person. Kristi Noem was such like a visible force in the administration, like Ice Barbie. She would like cosplay all of these things. As Meredith just said, like she, part of the reason why I think she was ultimately fired is because she had been paying for these commercials and said that Trump was in on it and Trump hated that. What do you think?
Well, because he's got to be the center.
He's got to be you cannot come for the king. Like that is just simply, it is not. There's a lot of things you can do, but come for Trump or ask for him to have your back is, impossible. But, I think that a lot of what I've heard JD Vance say this, I've heard Trump say this, I've even heard Megyn Kelly say this, that they're like, oh, we have an optics problem for Republicans. We're doing great. We just have an optics problem. And now, Kristi Noem is out. Wayne Mullin is in. Do you think that they're going to like revamp the image around this guy? Or like, do you think they'll take the time to like revamp it?
It's hard to say. I think ICE is going to continue to be placed in cities and terrorize Americans. I think it will be a little different approach, because you have Kristi Noem, who has the way she looks, her visible attributes. I'm like,
did her face explode when she found out?
And it's funny to me, these conservative women who are in the media or have to speak, they all have this like really low voice that they use. And my voice is not high, but I can't get down there. So I think they're trying to feign toughness. And it's cosplay, like you mentioned that. I think this guy will probably, I don't know. I don't know him. He'll probably end up being more like a rodeo cowboy, Pete Hegseth.
That's true. That's true.
Very masculine.
Very, very masculine. So Republicans do have the vote to swear him in. John Fetterman is, likely, like there may be some Democrats who join in the, oh, wow, look at that cowboy hat.
Oh, look at, I honestly, I had never seen a picture. I just went off his name.
Yeah, he looks exactly what he sounds like. He, not that you have to have a college degree, but he is in fact a college dropout. And so for the amount of people that spend time calling AOC a bartender, and this gentleman actually did fail out of college is, wild. Who gets called, who gets tagged with being working class as a pejorative is interesting.
Right. Just women of color.
Just women of color. Yeah. Just women of color who have something to say, So it seems likely that he will sail right in. But interestingly, as a reminder, everybody's like, we still, like the Democrats and Republicans are still fighting over DHS funding, which Chuck Schumer, for better or for worse, says that that won't change now that Kristi Noem is out. They're still fighting for reforms over ICE. So we'll see about that. And then
I mean, at least they're fighting for something.
Yeah, I mean, I know that was actually, I mean, like not to go on a little rant, but Rosa, before we got on, Tracy and I bonded over the fact that we're both from Connecticut. And Rosa DeLauro, who's been the representative of my district since I was 2 years old, voted to fund DHS. She was one of the 21 Democrats and I was like rip shit angry, like, come on, Rosa DeLauro, like we have so little.
It's interesting. Connecticut's a blue state, but there are pockets and like you encounter people there that's very strange.
Big time. I actually during the 2024 election happened to be home. I voted absentee, but I was home and both the days leading up to and during the actual day of election. And I like the amount of Trump signs that I saw out there. And I saw a man with the Trump shirt where he's like, the fight, fight, fight shirt. And I was like, if in, like not in the city, New Haven, where I grew up is like very, very blue, but it was in the surrounding areas that I was like, oh, this is happening. If in Connecticut.
Some of those old factory towns, because my hometown of Plainville is very, very red. I'm like, I can't believe I grew up there.
It's like working
out as gay as I did.
I think that people in Connecticut also feel, I've always said this about Connecticut because it has this reputation of being like this ultra wealthy state. But I actually think that it's like a deeply segregated state, both by class and by race. And so there's also very, very high taxes. And so you have extremely, extremely wealthy people that like build the reputation of the state and like the taxes of the state. And then underneath that is a very forgotten working class group of people.
Working class. Yeah, I know. Yeah. People think that I'm wealthy because I'm from Connecticut. I'm like, I'm not from that part.
I know. I'm like, well, that and anytime you meet a Yale, I'm from New Haven. Anytime you meet a Yaley, they're like, oh, I only hung up on the Yale campus. And I'm like, you don't have to tell me that. Like, I know, like we know that you don't want to hang out in New Haven, So I just, before we move on to the next story, I just want to throw out J.B. Pritzker, the governor from Illinois, released this video about Kristi Noem that I thought was sort of interesting. Like, Vienna, I just want to play
Kristi Noem, don't let the door hit you on the way out. Here's your legacy. Corruption and chaos. Parents and children tear-gassed. Moms and nurses, U.S. citizens getting shot in the face. Now that you're gone, don't think you get to just walk away. I guarantee you, you will still be held accountable.
Ooh.
I just said, yeah. Okay. What did you think? I want to see what you thought of this.
Well, it sounds like a threat, and like they're going to try to prosecute Kristi Noem. I mean,
I think like I thought that, and I also was like, I think J.B. Pritzker is clearly one of the names that's been brought up about somebody who's probably going to run for president, and I do think it signifies that like Democrats are gonna want the revenge narrative a little bit for themselves, that they're like part of the strategy going forward will be the nobody can get away with this. And like, who knows whether we'll actually ever see accountability. I sort of tend to doubt it, but I did think it was interesting that he was like, you don't get to just leave this and dip out.
I mean, I do hope they hold people accountable. I'm a little frustrated that it's happening after all the horrific acts that Americans have endured. I wish that they had been stronger out of the gate and really held a line, but I hope they hold people accountable. I did want to point out, I think Vienna noted this, and I was going to say this. I think it's really interesting because we're seeing this with the Trump administration now, these white women who stump for Trump and for all their men will be the first ones taken down.
Totally. Yes.
I mean, they're just on every level, they're just screwing themselves.
They're just screwing themselves. I know this was something that I noticed too. Before we move on to Pam Bondi, somebody else who screwed themselves is Elise Stefanik, who put her whole reputation behind Trump. She was also running for governor, I believe. And her whole platform was like, I'm going to go after Mamdani. And then Trump fell in love with Mamdani and was like, sorry, babe. And now she basically doesn't have a career. And something that I feel delighted with the people like Kristi Noem and other people who might be held accountable at the end of this is they're never going to get another administration job. Part of the reason they got this job was because of their fealty to Trump, and they're never going to be able to escape that. And they wouldn't Kash Patel would never otherwise get to be the head of the FBI under any other administration,
No, they've kissed the ring, and here they are.
And here they are. Before we bring in our guest, which we're so excited about, I do want to talk about, Attorney General Pam Bondi is about to face a similar scrutiny. She's going to have to answer for how she released the Epstein files. She's been subpoenaed to Congress. Representative Jane Comer, who is the person who subpoenaed the Clintons, objected to this subpoena, but it was overruled. And then meanwhile, the House Oversight has started to release the testimony of the Clintons in connection to the Epstein files. And I did get the creeps with this clip of Bill Clinton. So I just wanted to play it and talk a little bit about it really quick.
Yeah.
Did you or other male passengers receive a massage from this young woman or any other young women who are described as a masseuse?
Well, I've seen one picture that shows that in a airport waiting area, one of the women was massaging my neck. That's all I've seen.
Have you received more than one massage from these trips with Mr. Epstein and the young girls that were present?
I don't recall them, but the problem I remember from that trip was that my neck had spasmed and I was in, and so they offered to help and I let them help. One left.
She asked whether or not you recalled any other massage
No, I
trips.
do not.
Thank you.
Yeah, I just, we got big fish to fry with Trump, but I really am I want all these people to be accountable.
No, anybody involved. And I've never been a Bill fan. I mean, listen, I voted for him back in the day after 8 years of Reagan and then, Bush Sr. Sure, I voted for him. I had a lot of hope that things would change and, certain things were good under him. But, Monica Lewinsky happened and I was on Monica's side the entire time.
Good for you. You were ahead of your time because I was younger and I remember my parents being like, that Monica, they were.
Oh, yeah. She lured him, the way that people blamed her. She was 21 years old with the most powerful man in the world.
Easy. I know now that I'm an adult, I'm I don't know what I would have done in that. I know what I would have done in that situation, which is exactly what she did. Or peed myself probably, more likely.
Yeah.
I was just scared shitless.
But I mean, the conservatives at that time, the Republicans were hypocritical about that. There was all kinds of garbage going on in the Republican Party at the time. So did I think that he needed to be impeached over that? I wasn't exactly sure about that.
Did it now that it's Trump, what are we even impeaching people for these days?
Right.
Everything is an impeachable offense.
So, I mean, it changed my opinion about him for sure. And it bums me out because I think Hillary is very, very smart, intelligent woman. And I like her. I want to root for her. And I read her book after the 2016 election. And I was always like, is this a marriage of convenience? Is it just a political marriage? She loves him. She loves the guy. I don't know. As a lesbian, I'm like, I don't see it.
I don't know. Yeah. Yeah.
I don't get it.
I don't get it.
Yeah.
I know. I said this on the show last week, but I'll repeat it, is I think it was a mistake. I genuinely believe that Hillary Clinton knew and had nothing to do with Jeffrey Epstein. And I genuinely believe that Bill Clinton did. And so it's so interesting that they put them both on the stand day after day in sort of like equal measure as if they were the same person. Right. And so I think it both absolves him and makes her more guilty. You know, like I saw this clip and I was like, yeah, this is gross. And I also wonder, do you think like he's actually that feeble, or whether he's playing it up to the cameras a little bit and being like, I'm just an old man?
I don't, that's a good question, because when I saw the clips of him, I thought, ooh.
Yeah, me too. I was like, oh boy.
When he tried to pick up the glass. So I do think he's got something medical that is happening. I mean, he is an old man, right?
Yeah, they're all old men. Yeah, he's an old man.
Yeah, well, he's 79. All right.
Wow, is our president, he's the same age as our current president. Yes. So, yeah.
I mean, Bill Clinton was just a wee thing when he was in office, comparatively.
I know. It's so weird. It's so weird.
He seems doddering, but I don't know. It feels kind of real to me.
Yeah, I don't know. My last question before we bring in Zoya is, do you think that Pam Bondi will face the same fate as Kristi Noem? You know, like Kristi Noem went into these hearings and came out of these hearings without a job. Do you think that Pam Bondi is going to have a similar fate?
I think it's highly likely. I mean, she really botched a couple of weeks ago with, she got attacked and I think she made the Trump administration look weak.
I agree.
With the way she handled herself, and he hates that. Yeah. And, and just going back to this, I think the administration sets especially these, I'm just going to say dumbass white women who fall for their, want to ride the stars of these white men into heaven or wherever they think they're going. And they're going to be the first ones pushed out every time. And they keep doing it. So I absolutely think Pam Bondi is on that same.
Is on vehicle. The chopping block. Couldn't be us. Couldn't be us.
You know what? And it couldn't happen to a nicer person.
Yeah, right. God bless. Bless your heart.